Y'all thought Miss Kristen taking over this channel. Psych. Pastor John is back. Hey, I'm going to be teaching you some good stuff today. Going to teach you how to pull corn out of a garden, how to clean it, how to make homemade cream style corn. Son, today is going to be on. Y'all stay tuned. So here we are in my corn patch, and this corn is actually peculiar in that I planted it late. The rest of my garden I've already had to cut down, and this corn was an afterthought. I had some corn laying around, I said, well, let me plant it. And I know it was planted late in the year, but I thought, let me try it anyway. I don't recommend it because, as you can see, the grass and stuff is just about taking it over. Planted it too late. But it did make some. And so if you've never pulled corn, I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to teach you also how to know when corn is ready. All right, so when corn starts to develop, if you'll look here, here's an ear of corn right here, okay? When corn starts to develop, this silk, see that silk right there? I just pulled off of there? That silk is white. But when you see brown silk on corn, you know corn is ready. Now, in order to pull corn off, you gotta pull and twist at the same time. So this is gonna be quick, but watch. See, I'm gonna grab this corn. That's what you do. You grab it and you twist at the same time. Now, that was done by a highly trained professional, okay? So if I need to show you that again, Miss Claire, you want to see that again?
Yes.
So again, we're looking for the silk on top to be brown, which that is. See, all that silk's brown. So again, what you do, you're going to grab it, twist it, and pull it at the same time. You see that? So now we got corn there. All right, so let's look at this corn. I just pulled off a couple of ears. Let's look at this. Let's see how pretty that. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Look at that. White gold. Look at that. Look at that. Now you sit there and say, you will talk about nice. Look at that. Now we'll clean that off in a little while. But my, now you see that right there? A lot of people see that right there and they go, oh my God, that's so gross. No, it's just a worm. That's all that is, just a worm. He's in there. Listen, they got to eat too. They got to eat too. So the good Lord put this out here. So again, that worm has got no idea that the good Lord put me out here to plant corn to feed him. And so some people who raised up in the city will look at that and say, oh my goodness. Look at that corn. Why would you put that? You ain't gonna eat that, are you, Pastor John? That thing had a worm in it. What are you talking about? I'm gonna take a knife. I'm gonna cut that off. All this corn's good. Why would I throw away this whole ear of corn just cause a worm was in the top of it? Now, another thing that this will tell you here is I got worms in this corn. That tells you right off this corn is organic. There ain't no pesticides in this. If there were pesticides in this, a worm would show up and start eating that corn and go, no, I'm not eating that. And I wouldn't have worms in my corn. But because my wife and I try to eat as organic as we possibly can, there's gonna be worms in it. So we just cut that off and we'll keep on eating. So it's time to pull corn. So let's get on that. So this is a little one. Look at how little that is. Some of you may be asking, Pastor John, you gonna keep that? Well, the kids gotta have something to eat. I mean, I ain't gonna let my children starve. Alright everybody, so we're back inside the house here. We've been outside pulling corn, and of course I also got a chance to bush hog it and get it all knocked down because it's just that time of year. And so, you know, when you bring corn in the house and you start wanting to shuck it, you know, what you do is you pull all this off, right? If you've never seen this done, that's the way this is done. You just pull this stuff off and it reveals what's on the inside here. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? White gold. Look at that. Absolutely, absolutely gorgeous. This stuff is sweet as sugar. Sweet as sugar. That is a beautiful ear of corn. Very nice. Now, you say, Pastor John, you may be asking, what in the world does corn on the cob got to do with anything spiritual? Well, I'm glad you asked. If you'll take the time to research the word sincere, you'll understand that it has a pretty interesting background and a pretty interesting history. Way back yonder in Latin times, Grecian times, there were people who spent their entire lives becoming absolute craftsmen when it comes to sculpting. I mean, these guys were really, really good. I mean, they'd take a mallet and they would take a chisel, and through practice they got so good with a mallet and with a chisel that they could pop and chisel around a piece of marble all the way to the point to where all they had to do was apply the right amount of pressure to the sculpture, and it would break and it would pop off. And I mean, if you've ever seen any of those sculptures where their face is just smooth, the eyes, I mean, the detail is absolutely amazing. You're talking about craftsmen, I mean, of excellence, craftsmen of excellence. These people were really, really good at what they did. They got paid top dollar for what they done, but there were some who wanted to be sculptors, but they weren't that good at it. And they had not taken the time to get really, really good and really, really precise with how they done their work. And so if they didn't apply the right amount of pressure, what would happen would be they'd gouge the marble. And of course, when they would gouge it, right, it would be not as perfect as maybe someone else who was a master craftsman. So what did they do? What they done was they would take wax, and they would take the wax and they would take this sculpture where they had gouged it. They'd take the wax and they'd put the wax in the gouge. And when you looked at it, you thought, man, that thing, look at that, what a work of art. Problem was, when you put that work of art in the sun, well, you know what happens already. The sun comes out, hits the wax. What's the sun do to the wax? Melts the wax, right? Then everybody was like, oh my goodness, check that out. It's not as perfect as we thought it was. The sun showed all the blemishes from this sculptor. And so the word sincere, okay, in its original form actually means without wax. Without wax. So in our Christian walk, that's what we want. We don't want all this shuck, you know. We don't want all of the silk, you know. What we want is to get down to, we want to be without hypocrisy. We want to be sincere. We want to be without wax. We don't want to be pretentious. We don't want to be fake. We want to be real. And when we get real, and when we get real with God, okay, He's the one who can look upon our imperfections, apply grace and mercy to those imperfections, and we can grow through that. We can grow through that. And so, you know, I take a lot of interest in things in the old way. And when you start the process of shucking corn and getting all the shulks off and getting all the silk out and getting down to the nitty-gritty, I'm talking about down to what really matters, right? That's important to me as a believer too. I want to be sincere. I want to be legit. I want to be real. I don't like fake folks. I don't like fake Christianity. I want to be legit. I want to be real. And so the Bible says in Philippians chapter 1 verse 10, it says, so that you might be able to discern what is best and may be pure and blameless for the day of Christ. Because listen, the day of Jesus is coming. It's a day of reckoning coming. And when He shows up, I got a question for you. You gonna be legit? You gonna be fake? You might be faking it now. You ain't gonna fake it then. So, listen, ain't nobody without sin. You can pretend to be, but I know better. You know better. Jesus knows better. So, let's get all the shulk off. Let's get all the silk out. Let's get down to what really matters. Let's get all the wax off. Let's get down to being sincere and genuine believers for the day of Jesus. We can do that. We can live authentic lives. I don't know about you. That's what I want. I want to live an authentic Christian life. Well, hope that wasn't too deep for you. It ain't too deep for me. Makes me want to live better, live right, live blameless before the Lord, if at all possible. Be sincere, be without wax, be legit. So that's what we're thinking about around here at the homestead today, as we're pulling corn and shucking it and getting all the silk out of it and getting ready to make some homemade cream corn. Y'all do me a favor, be legit, be sincere, be genuine. Why? Because the day of the Lord's coming. So it ain't my words, it's the words of Jesus. Y'all take that to heart. I trust that you will. I've got ample confidence in the Holy Spirit that He can take what I say and use it to bless you and to encourage you and maybe even rebuke you. So blessings to you. I hope that devotion was a blessing to you. And I know this corn's going to be a blessing to me when I eat it. So, hey, God bless you. Y'all take care. And of course, we'll talk soon. Landon and Claire, I think it's probably time for us to shuck some of this corn. Teach these folks what it looks like to shuck corn. Hey, I'm going to be teaching you some good stuff today. I'm going to teach you how to pull corn out of a garden, how to clean it, how to make homemade cream style corn, how to make homemade cream style corn, homemade cream style corn, make homemade cream style corn.